Hello, welcome back to your time for you, your time to start to navigate a little bit more of the depths, the pleasure, the enjoyment, the experiences that your beautiful, unique soul, that your energy is bringing forward. Bringing forward. And what I love about that particular part of today's message, what is it that you're bringing forward? One of the craziest things about life is just how much is pre-planned and predestined for us. Quite a bit. Let's just focus on the positive things and then the good challenges that we learn and grow from. And the reason I say that is because that is the focus and the development for session, today's session, today's podcast. So when we think about what is it that we're being guided to do, to be, to experience, to feel, one of the biggest areas we're going to see shift and change in your personal life, in society, in the world is actually around how we begin to cultivate, to navigate, to nurture our new experiences moving forward. And this is in all areas. So today's session about your energy lever. This feels so, so good on my heart to share. I'm so excited about this one. Your energy lever. So when we think about things that we want to create in our life, things that we want to manifest, people will often, or even when people are in the first early beginning stages of working with their intuition or speaking with their spirit guides, they will actually start with really big topics. And these big topics usually focus on how do I get out of my current pain? That could be anything. It could be feeling a deep, long resonance lull in a partnership or a marriage or relationship. It could be around finances. It could be around health. It could be around a lot of different things. And when we begin living life in accordance with our soul's true path, which I want to be very clear that our soul's true path is never about perfection. It's not that at all. It is about the ups and downs. It is about the variety of experiences. When we live that way, instead of thinking, how do I hop, skip, jump, quantum leap to where I want to be, we want to listen to this internal energy lever of yours because it is with and through that gentle guidance that you're not going to get exactly what it is that you expect, but you're going to get exactly what it is you need. And then when you get what you need versus what your sweet mind and your sweet ego really wants, that is when, some of the greatest experiences of your life come to pass. One of the ways I learn about our energy lovers, one of the many ways. I like that it sounds like I just said lovers, lovers. It's like, oof, energy, internal energy, lovers of love. So, one of the key areas I learned about this particular lover versus feeling a really strong, our energy lovers are very subtle. They're very subtle. And it's often where or our ego meets it with resistance at first, which is good. It's really healthy. If you've been here at all, we love our sweet ego. Shows us where we're growing and expanding and where we've been in pain before. So with these gentle energy levers, where I first really, really saw these come through in my life in big ways was actually when I adopted my first cat. Now my family loves animals, big dog family, big, big dog family. I think unless you've ever had a cat, it's kind of hard to know really like what a cat's style is and why people like it so much. And I resisted for 6 months. It took this individual to convince me to adopt my first cat. And then when I did, the first few months were rough. And I was like, I don't know if I want this. What are my options to decat myself? And if you don't know by now, it's been 10, 11 plus years. I, buy tables at galas for cat fundraising now. Invite all my friends and family and, donate to local rescue shelters and firmly, firmly believe in the absolute joy that is that cats bring when that season comes to pass in your life. Okay. So What's really interesting is was for 6 months, I really, really resisted this. I really resisted it, but I felt this internal pull, and the internal pull really bothered me. It bothered me because this was not where I saw my life going. I didn't see myself. I didn't even know I didn't even know how to, what do you do with a cat? I didn't even know. Didn't even know. And what's interesting is it wasn't the perfect path by society standards, right? Like I get her, I remember to this day, I bought her a cat carrier and I didn't know at the time when I picked her up that it was too small. So this sweet little thing gets squeezed into this cat carrier and like a ding dong, I stick her on the front seat and I take off. And then I forget what happened, but I had to slam on the brakes and she's fine, by the way. But, so then she like rolls into the lower part of the front seat of my car. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I just remember looking at me like, do you know what you're doing, lady? Because so this was the whole process. And, this sweet, darling cat has brought so much funny and laughter, joy to my life, all the good stuff, right? All right. So then I look at when I got my second cat, and I felt it in my soul. He was meant for me. And I really, really resisted a second cat. So the long and short of it is, he wasn't the cat I wanted. I wanted a kitten. I wanted another tuxedo. It's what I knew. He was just a boring little tabby. And the long and short of it is, the universe gave me all the signs in the world that I barely even had to ask for. I mean, the signs came through in spades. And I think that that's one of the biggest things to note about energy lovers is you don't even have to ask for the signs come to you. They come to you. I have some bigger examples to share that are really dear and personal to me that I'll be happy to share as kind of more time goes on. So, when we think of energy levers, this is your internal guidance system that's leading you towards something that your mind is resisting. Your mind doesn't always have to resist it, but you'll be going through big growth when you are. The other piece is your energy levers are something you can feel into anytime you're making a decision in life. Some decisions will feel really, really big. Some will be really small. I teach the yes no tool here. I use the yes no tool all the time in sessions for my own personal life. And one of the things I want to invite you to think about too is, how do you begin listening to when does your energy, if we think of a lever, it's like when does your energy sort of like start to tilt and peak up and say, you know what, this is causing a little bit more of a frequency that is out of alignment? Or when does it start to kind of lean back and pull you back and say, oh, you know what, this feels really settled. This feels really good. This feels really strong. This feels really right. And you can start to pay attention to this nuance in your physical body, in your energy field, anytime you want to. So, the beauty of the Inner Light framework is the Inner Light framework takes us out of our busy mind and it drops us into heart and soul. And then as you begin living from heart and soul for a while, and you're less in your mind. I don't know. I don't honestly think we ever get out of our mind fully on Earth. I mean, come on, we're humans. So there's going to be times where we've got to really like drop it in, right? We got to train ourselves to drop it in and be in our light and be in alignment. And then there's other times we're just going to listen to those little levers. Oh, am I feeling called? Am I feeling physically, energetically just a little bit pulled over here? Am I gently being called back a little bit over here? Do I feel like there's a little bit too much of a nuanced friction or noise, or the energy isn't quite right, versus leaning back and saying, you know what, this just feels really calm. This feels really good. I can't necessarily explain it. I can't put my finger on it. That's your personal lever. So your personal lever lets you know, oh, you know what, something's starting to squeak, or wow, this is actually making me feel really, really calm and really good, versus listening to your head. In order for our society to make some of the monumental changes it's going to be making over the upcoming decades, I just wanted to say years, and what I channeled just there is decades. In order for us to do that, it is going to take you and I at this micro level really, really beautifully listening in and tuning into what is the gauge here? what is my lever telling me and how am I following this? Also, Spirit is wanting to highlight just one more time how we do get a lot of signs when we're following that lever of feeling calm, collected. This feels good. This feels nuanced. This feels right. They say the signs will really begin to appear because they're not having to fully reroute you. It's kind of like when you are on the road, say you're on, I'm going to say Interstate 5, what we call I-5 in the Pac Northwest. And when you're on I-5, you know, okay, I'm looking for exit XYZ. And you see the other exits. Let's just make up a number, exit 111. That's a good one. It's exit 111. I don't even know if we have an exit 111. I'm assuming. Anyway, and you're okay, this is exit 104, 105, etc. You're getting the signs that you're on the right track. The same thing happens in life when you're listening to this internal guidance, this internal pull. I was traveling recently with family, and part of what I did is as we would go about our day, we would, everyone was so great. We had people in from a few different parts of town, and everybody just kind of went with the flow. And it was just those little energy levers. And someone would say, "Oh, how does this sound for the day? Oh, yeah, that feels good." Or I'd say, "How does this sound for the day? Oh, yeah, that feels good." So, as opposed to, we kind of thought we would do a bit more, but we actually, we just had a great time together, really, no matter what we did. So, just kind of listening to more of those nuances, right? Versus, oh, well, we said we're going to do XYZ, therefore we must go do XYZ. So, yeah, listening to those levers, even in the morning. I would have my little, my morning routines are a bit different when I'm traveling. I still do the basic energy work, set my intentions and I'll sneak in a few meditations here and there. One of the things I love about meditation, I used to do this when I would get into like Ubers or Lyfts. And if I didn't want to chat, I'd say, "I'm gonna pray now." Nobody messes with you when you say that. If you say, "I need to go meditate or pray," people are like, "Whoa, okay, sounds good, bye." But I would do those little micro moments throughout the day. So, even when you're traveling, even when things are busy, there's always time to take, even if it's 5 minutes for yourself to kind of have that reset. And then that way your energy lever is still clean, clear, crisp. Okay. I am so excited for you to enjoy this tool. I would love to hear how you play around with this, how it comes through for you. And I am so excited about 2026. I'm so excited. The Intuitive Practitioner Program is continuing to grow and expand, and it is going to be my primary focus for a while. I have just a couple of private containers if you're interested in that. And the book will be coming out. I know this book has been in the works. I cannot wait to tell you all what I've learned from creating this book. It has been a lot. It has been a lot. And it's wild to me because in sessions, Spirit will drop into people that they're meant to create books or similar arts of works of art. And and I take a moment and I check myself. I'm like, is this me? Is this my impression? They're like, no, people need to get their stories out there, their work out there. It's really, really important. Also, as I've now written a book, I can see how like it's such a beautiful gift to be able to share your experience of the knowledge that you're sharing. We know all knowledge is universal, but the stories that you wrap around your wisdom are so powerful and they're so meaningful. And yeah, it's just, I've had a few people read this book just because I want to, cross-check, make sure it all makes sense to people. And, when you know this stuff really well, and then you try to explain it, you just want to make sure that it's comprehensible. And people they've been telling me, they go, "Wow, I've been using what I learned from the book." And that's exactly what your work of art does for people. It helps give people that guidance and that roadmap and that tool. They see themselves. They don't feel alone. They feel empowered by their journey too and inspired. So just a little nugget there. But I think a lot of people are going to be bringing books of work, books of art through in the next decade. Probably the way we saw a big splurge in the podcast realm the last few years. I don't know if that's died down a bit. It seems to have a tiny bit. I'm still getting the call to keep moving and grooving with my podcast. So here we are. And it feels really good. I get so excited. when information comes through for my podcast, it's like I birth a little mini something every episode. And it's the one thing that I feel really good celebrating bringing out each week consistently on Wednesdays. So, more of that to come. And yeah, if you have felt like you have a work of art in you, I would say get started now. Don't wait. Don't feel like you have to start it in order to finish it by a certain time. The journey will teach you it will teach you more than than you ever thought you needed to learn. You're like, wait a minute, I thought I was doing pretty well with with my healing and my expansion. Oh, write a book. Get back to me. Okay, beautiful souls, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your light into this world, and I'll see you next week. It has been so great to connect here. If this episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who you want to have more of these chats with. And as you move throughout your day, remember, your energy is your superpower. As you pay attention to it and trust it, you can watch your entire life begin to transform.